Hey friends, today's topic is Destiny 2's end, specifically the end of live service updates. That does not mean the end of the game, as I'm a PvP player and there still isn't an equivalent to Destiny PvP on the market right now. However, I do understand the importance of PvE and total population for making PvP feel playable. Now, heads up, I'm not reading the Bungie article, so if you want to know what's in there, read it yourself and come back to the video. Link in the description. I was wrong thinking that Destiny would have another chance if both Renegades and Marathon failed. But when you look at what this final Destiny 2 update is bringing to the table, one might argue that it is stacked enough to rebuild the game in a positive direction. There's a saying, I wish there was a way to know when you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. I'm lucky that I recognized the game balancing was always temporary, and if by sheer luck a balancing scheme favored high-skilled players wanting to duke it out against other high-skilled players, then especially I knew for sure that it would only be a matter of time before some live service update ruined it so that the masses could enjoy playing Mayhem Light for a few weeks until they didn't. Then all that would remain are jaded high-skilled players praying that the opponent would respect a gentleman's agreement so that the match would be dynamic and therefore playable. The first topic I want to discuss is the final PvP balancing pass. Destiny 1's final balancing pass was terrible. I'm not getting into its meta now, but I could drop a Destiny 1 final patch retrospective video if my Destiny 2 version does well. Destiny 2's final balancing pass might be decent, but there is a possibility that the player base thins enough that the only players who remain are sword-hilting, yelling callouts on the team chat, and Harry Potter flying around the map cheaters. I pray we also don't get an artifact at all, and or that it's disabled in PvP. The biggest difference between Destiny 1 and 2's end of life is that during Destiny 1, we were able to experience Destiny 2's reveal and beta playtest. Destiny 2 was vastly superior as a PvP game, and Destiny had one of its worst sandboxes by the end. Also, Destiny 2 planned to offer PC support, which enabled 60 frames. Needless to say, Destiny 1 was deserted. But Destiny 2 isn't guaranteed to follow that same path because we don't have a Destiny 3 announced to act as the alternative. It could be argued that Marathon is the alternative, but the game is very seasonal, so after the excitement of a fresh extraction restart wears off, players would have to look elsewhere for enjoyment. Marathon had this niche hardcore gambit going for it, versus it could have just had onboarding and small dedicated PvE and PvP modes and a testing range to faster acclimate players new to the genre without taking away from its hardcore vision. I know that doesn't exist without a cost, but surely this was an obvious feedback point that was never given the priority it deserved. This never had to be a hard lesson to learn for the studio. So in this interim period of Destiny 2's end of live service and Marathon's struggle, a hole in the market exists for first-person shooters that offer something more enjoyable. For all I know, we might see live service games go the way of the dinosaur, and to replace it, a new renaissance era of full complete packages of arena PvP, story PvE, ARPG looter shooters, rogue experiences, and so on. All it takes, though, is one of them to critically wound Destiny 2's remaining PvP population to unplayable numbers in public matches. The next topic is new players. I like that they're bundling all the content into one collection for a singular price. This makes the game easier to purchase in the future for new players looking to check it out. The cusp of maintaining a future population for PvP is that getting into the game needs to be low friction and easy. For example, Titanfall 2 and Halo are still niche games with playable populations at peak hours. In those games, though, you don't have to do a 10-hour campaign to unlock a grenade ability you were curious about. I'd love to see an option to instantly unlock some of the campaign rewards and so on. Perhaps a starter pack that gives strong PvP gear instantly so new players can immediately jump in and learn. Now, a bot battleground would be too ambitious at this point, but I'll mention it in case somebody's taking notes for a future Bungie game. The other half of the equation is unfortunately on the content creator's shoulders. We need to make absolutely flawless, non-intimidating guides that offer paths for the most fun activities with the most fun gear setups, the realistic solo player's best in slot shopping list, the fastest PvP god set, What are the most fun speedruns to learn? By the way, speedrunning is about to hit different now. Players that had zero interest in it previously might finally check out Destiny 2 since it is no longer a live service game, meaning that the leaderboards don't randomly get nulled by Bungie's interference. I'd love for the speedrun moderators to distinguish categories that only allow for gear that is obtainable as of the final update. As for fear of missing out, FOMO, while seasonal event loot now has a permanent source, I hope they add something similar for all previously unobtainable loot. It would be fun to have a method to finally use loot that I never understood of the era that it existed in. The next topic is honestly one I don't want to talk about. I wonder if I would have enjoyed the original vision for Marathon, because as it stands currently at its best moments, it just makes me want to play Valorant for the tactical shooter aspects, and maybe old school RuneScape for the tension that everybody's talking about. At that famous Game Developer Conference Bungie presentation, it was said that love and hate for a game are only a degree away from each other. The true worst outcome was to have the fans become apathetic, meaning that they don't even care to care. That's unfortunately where I am with Marathon. Every game news update, community drama, entertaining video, and so on, all of these elude my attention. I had silently quit for the simple reason of there is not a single pro that outweighs the cons of the extraction shooter genre. I will not be toxic positivity gaslit into thinking that there's something wrong with me for not paying attention to extraction shooters. In the same way that I don't follow news about a game like Backyard Baseball, like I'm not foaming at the mouth waiting for the Pablo Sanchez nerf to go through so I can play the game. No, I just don't pay attention to it because it doesn't interest me. It's that simple. However, like a sleeper agent, Bungie said the code word that activated me and pierced through my noise-canceling headphones. PvP focused mode. Marathon bellowed from the bottom of the mountain, gravely wounded but ready to climb up properly prepared this time. Arena playlist! Destiny 2 cried in a choked-up whisper as it breathed out its final breath. As for my video content creation plans, I want to make one talking about the exit patch meta and predictions for how and what the player base will evolve to the true final meta. Even a game like Super Smash Bros. Melee still has meta development to this day, so I'm excited to be proven wrong by some clever players of the future. I'm not planning on a best of montage or nostalgia bait content in the near future because I'd rather spend my time playing the game while it has players right now. Now there is going to be new abilities and exotic tuning that I'll wait to talk more about until we see a specific article, but while I'm here, please revert Gemini Jester back to the way it was so I don't have to play Invis Hunter for the rest of eternity. My future Destiny content will be the same it always has been, because even without the live service updates, the beauty of PvP is that getting better at the game is its own reward, unlocking more things that you're able to effectively pilot. As for other videos and other games, there's many Hood Classic games I still haven't played. And I don't even have to play games. I could read a book or 10,000. I can make commentary videos talking about 5 games that define my childhood, or how I grew up with a dog like Airbud, or how I currently organize my YouTube watch playlist, and so on. As for real life, I haven't played Destiny since March 30th, because I was an idiot that hid from my responsibilities and let chores and inconveniences pile up until I felt buried and sort of lost my sense of identity and self. Over time, my hobbies and interests lost their luster, and I grew complacent in trying to survive the day instead of planning for a better tomorrow. Since then, I've done everything I'm supposed to do in the self-improvement grind: proper diet, exercise, sleep patterns, sunlight, vitamins, routines, and so on. I'm very appreciative of my friends that let me call them while I chipped away at chores and did anything to move forward. This isn't the first time I felt like I stumbled, and it probably won't be the last. When I'm fully clear of my chore debt, I'm going to acquire a nutrition certification to go in tandem with my old exercise science degree and offer online coaching for big picture rebuilds for healthier lifestyles. I'm also going to throw my hat in the ring regarding voice acting style activities and cast a few nets to see if that ever lands me something one day. Otherwise, I have no plans to stop streaming or content creation. I always felt like I left a lot of money on the table to be honest about my love of the game. After a decade of consistent, thought-provoking, and entertaining content, I feel I've earned the privilege to get the bag when it doesn't harm my viewers. So expect more sponsored streams and so on. And if we ever do get a Destiny 3 equivalent, I will be a content machine, trying to earn future grandkids retirement funds so they don't have to worry about anything. And if I don't have any grandkids when I'm a bitter or older man, then I guess I'll donate my extra cash to an aquarium or something pretty. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm not going to cry or get too sentimental here because, from my point of view, we're just getting started.